Magandang araw sa inyo lahat mga ka-KJ. This is Ken and welcome to Learning and Exploring with Ken and Jen. So, ang topic natin para sa araw na to is RFBT, Introduction to Obligation. So, introduction lang po ito. So, ito ay nasa Article 1156 ng ating Civil Code. Okay. Lang. Sige, RFBT, Introduction, and Kenneth Cañada. So, overview, law on business transactions. Ito po ay ang obligations, definition, sources of obligation, and their concepts, law, contracts, quasi-contracts, delicts, and quasi-delicts. So, ang ating lang po sa ngayon ay ang definition lang po. Hanggang definition lang po tayo ngayon. So, Introduction to Obligations, Article 1156, Definition of Obligation. Article 1156 explains that what an obligation is in legal terms. An obligation is like a legal tie that binds someone to do something, give something, or refrain from doing something for someone else. It's derived from the Latin word obligatio, which means tying or binding. Okay. So, ito po ay ang explanation dyan. So, here's a simple breakdown. So, definition of obligation. An obligation is a legal necessity to do, give, or not to do. So, something for someone else. So, ibig sabihin po nito, ito ay isang gawain na or isang gawain na magbigay or isang gawain na hindi magbigay o hindi gawin ang isang bagay. So, ito ay isang obligasyon or katungkulan mo or isang parang tungkulin mo talaga na or isang obligasyon. Yun nga. Nasa word naman po, no? Na ibigay o gawin ang isang bagay o hindi gawin o hindi ibigay ang isang bagay. Dahil ito po ay may dahilan or may legal terms para doon po. So, juridical necessity. An obligation is a juridical necessity because if someone doesn't fulfill it, courts can enforce it. The person who fails to meet the obligation may be liable for damages, compensating the other party for any harm. So, ito yung sinasabi natin na involvement of the court dahil sa pagbigay o paggampana, hindi ginagampanan ng isang debtor yung kanyang katungkulan sa creditor, at ito po ay pwedeng ibigay o isaalang-alang sa kaso o sa korte gamit ang mga rights ng isang creditor. So, ito po ay through sa civil obligation. So, nature of obligations. There are civil obligations which can be enforced in courts and natural obligations which aren't enforceable but may be fulfilled voluntarily. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Yung civil obligation, yun yung sinasabi sa juridical necessity na involvement of courts and juridical necessity. Tama ba yun? Hindi. Basta yun po. So, yun, which are enforceable. So, natural naman yung mga bagay na ginagawa natin na obligado tayong gawin kahit na walang involvement ang court. So, essential elements of an obligation: passive subject, active subject, object or prestation, and juridical tie. Passive subject siya yung debtor, active subject siya yung creditor, object or prestation, what needs to be done or given or not done. Ito yung mga object o yung gagawin mo. At yung juridical tie, ito yung binding effect or yung nagko-connect sa obligation mo sa debtor or at obligation mo sa creditor or both. Okay. Sige, example po. In a building contract, if X agrees to construct a house for Y for 1 million pesos, X is the one doing it, active subject. is the one receiving it, passive subject, and mali ata. Mali. Baliktad po sila. X is the one doing it kasi active subject siya ay tama. Okay. Tama ba? Hindi mali. Mali po. Sige po. X is the one doing it or he is the one liable. So siya ang passive subject. Y is the one receiving it or he is the one being siya yung siya yung paggagawan ng ating building or house, kaya siya ay ang creditor o active subject. Tapos the house construction is the task or the prestation or the object, and the contract is the legal time. In the scenario where Y agrees to pay X after the construction is finished, X becomes the one waiting for the payment. So, siya naman yung active subject. Yan. O, diba? Nabaliktad nga. And Y becomes the one who needs to pay or the passive subject. Forms of obligation. Form requirement. On contracts. Generally, contracts don't need a specific form or for validity. Other obligations from different sources have no required form. So, distinguish obligation, right and wrong. Obligation, something that the law enforces. Right, the legal power to demand something from another. And wrong, an act violating someone's legal right, causing harm. So, yung right is the one na in legal form na parang karapatan mo as an individual, and wrong naman yung mga ginagawa ng isang individual na hindi naangkop sa kabutihan ng tao at ng kanyang kapaligiran. Essential elements of cause of action. Legal right for the plaintiff o yung nagrereklamo. Obligation for the defendant. Ito yung nirereklamo. Act or omission of violating the right causing harm. Ito yung wrong. Okay. So, cause of action and time. Cause of action arises when a right is violated. Cause of action is kunwari, may nangyaring isang bagay na hindi kaya-aya. May nangyaring isang bagay na magpo-form ng action which will arise from the violated right o yung hindi kaya-ayang pangyayari. Lawsuits need all cause of action elements. The last element occurrence determines cause of action. So, relation between right and obligation. The obligation without a corresponding right and vice versa, they go hand in hand or they are connected. So, no obligation without a corresponding right and vice versa. So, kung walang right, walang obligation mag-arise. So, illustrative case. Situation. As cancel a property sale contract before buyer exercises the option. Outcome, buyer has the cause of action due to assets breach. Time limits for contract actions. Actions based on a written contract, 10 years from the breach. Injury, damages. Wrongful invasion of the legal right is the injury. Damage, loss resulting from injury. Damages, money recoverable for the loss. Existence of one without the other. Injury without damage and vice versa are possible. Liability for exercising legal rights. Using legal rights doesn't harm others. Damages only if damage results from a breach of legal duty. So, example po nito is ito of case on delay. X delays goods delivery while contesting forfeiture. X is not liable for damages due to exercising legal rights. So, current of obligation, real obligation, so giving a thing. Tapos, yung personal obligation is doing or not doing. So, real obligation talaga is the giving, and personal obligation is doing or not doing or not giving. So, doing, not doing, ang tanong pala kung bakit, ang reason pala kung bakit walang not to give is because ang not to give po ay nasa sakop na ng not to do. So, kung hindi mo gagawin ang pag-give, say, yun, not to do na siya. So, yun. 11:56 lang po ito, ha? So, thank you for thank you for watching. Sana po muna tutunin ko kahit konti. So, sa mga taong na-appreciate po ang aming ginagawa ni Ate Jen, at kung gusto niyo po pong makapanood ng aming mga video o ang aming mga vlogs, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates galing sa amin ni Ate Jen. So, ang reference po nito is kay Sir Hector De Leon. So, binago ko lang po yung mga words gamit ng ating AI, mga AI po na mga gamits. So, that's it. Ito po si Ken. This is Learning and Exploring with Ken and Jen. Earn with us, even in pajamas. Bye and have a good day.